What's happening, y'all? Welcome back to Wake Up Barstool here on FS1. Right now, I'm so excited to be joined by 15-year NFL vet, World Series champ, horse race owner extraordinaire, Jayson Werth. Jayson, what's up, brother? Thank you so much for waking up with us.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Bright and early. Let's do it.
All right, before we dive into the playoff, Jayson, you have discovered a love for the ponies in your post-playing career. You've been a part of an ownership team that has won Belmont. You had a horse ride in the Derby today. You've also won a World Series championship. How would you compare winning something like the Belmont to winning the World Series?
Well, it's right there. I said at the time it's probably winning a World Series in Philly, the parade, and then the Belmont. I think horse racing is an unbelievable sport for anybody. It's really an unbelievable sport for retired athletes. Guys that don't get on the field anymore. The horses run for you, and it's quite an experience from the paddock to the early morning training. You wake up on game day. You put your suit on. You put your tie on. It's like putting your cleats on, and then the horses, when they get on the track, they run for you. It's an amazing experience. It's hard to explain until you do it. We started Icon Racing. IconRacing.com. You can check it out. $100,000 a share. You can do it with your buddies, your parents, your families, and you get in. And on race day, it's as big as anything. It's hard to explain.
Yeah, the ponies are the best. All right, Jayson, tell us what the Cubs and the Phillies have to do. You've been in these spots before, in a clubhouse, in the playoffs, when a team can't hit, can't get the big hits, can't have the big moments. What exactly happens in those discussions? How do you fix it? How do you get out of a funk? Because I feel like playoff baseball, more than anything else, is just you got to be able to string together that like 2, 3, 4 hits where you can put up a crooked number, and neither team right now is able to do it, and they're both down 0-2 after losing on Monday night.
Yeah, well, I think they're in kind of two different sets of circumstances. We'll start with the Phillies. The Phillies were on ice for 5 days. It's the worst part of MLB postseason. You sit there for 5 days, you lose all your momentum. The Dodgers come in with all their momentum, from playing in the wild card. Now the wild card is 3 games. The Phillies are up against it hard. I don't know how. Honestly, I don't know how they recover. Losing 2 at home, that's tough. The Cubs. The Cubs have been playing, so I think they can flip the switch and turn it back on because they weren't on ice. So it's not an easy situation. Obviously, it's not where you want to be. You want to split at worst, but of course here we are, and neither team did. So it's going to be tough for both teams.
Jayson, have you been in a clubhouse where you second-guess the manager? We're in a situation here in Chicago where a lot of people didn't like what happened with the Cubs in Game 1. Have you ever been in a similar situation? And is that felt palpable in the dugout?
Yeah, of course I've been in that situation. And I think looking at those games last night, with the Phillies get the momentum in the 9th, and then they get Castellanos hits that double, and he's on second, and then they go to bunt the guy over with Stott. Yep. And doesn't get it done. And I think if you're going to do it right there, you would have pinch ran for Castellanos. He's not the best base runner. He's not the fastest guy. But they couldn't because Bader's can't run. He's hurt, and he's on the bench. So they were in a tough spot. I don't think you bunt right there. I don't know what the guys are feeling. But yeah, I mean it kills morale. You know what though? You're always second guess your manager and in the front office. You're kind of always you're kind of at odds with those guys all season most of the time, unless you got a really good manager like I had with Dusty Baker, Charlie Manuel. You always probably doing that a little bit, but in the postseason, it definitely adds up. When we were playing the Giants, and when I was with the Nationals, we had Matt Williams was our manager, and he messed up the bullpen. I mean, we wanted to kill him.
Yeah.
Oof.
You got a question, Nick?
Me?
Yeah. Che. Che's got a question. Che, by the way, Stephen Che is just became a baseball fan in April, so this question might literally be like, what's a double play? Go ahead.
He's going all in.
No, this works. So we have two teams that lost game twos in very different ways. The Phillies obviously had a near very, very good comeback in the bottom of the ninth inning. Obviously, the runner getting thrown out at home plate was a huge factor in that. But when the Cubs just get blown out, that game was over after the third inning, probably. What do you think, as a player, is easier to bounce back from a comeback that was just thwarted at the last minute, or you're just out of the game and you know, in the NFL, they say burn the playbook, burn the film?
Honestly, it probably just depends on what's going on in the clubhouse. Those comebacks, it can be a huge letdown. With the Cubs, I would say, their letdown was in the first inning. They come out swinging, go up 3-0, and then bang, the Brewers are right back in the first to tie it up, and then they kind of get blown out. So I think you could probably chalk that one up to just like, oh well, we got our ass kicked. Like let's move on. The Phillies might be a little bit tough. Just with all that, you got on top of everything in Philly, you got what they did with Duran's entrance, the closer. They added pyrotechnics, and they bring him in 2 games when was not a close situation, and they did their song and dance. They added all that stuff. That might eat at you a little bit more, even so. So. I don't know. I think the Brewers are hot. Like I said, they're both. Nobody's in a good situation down 0-2. It's we'll see who can fight back. Hopefully, you can get game 3 and get a little something going and try to get it back home for game 5.
Jayson, I guess I'll end with the Cubs down 0-2. Come back to Wrigley. What is the key? Like the mentality? Where's your head at as a player? How do you approach it so that you can start that journey back?
Yeah, I mean, it's just another ball game, really. I mean, you know what's going on, what's at stake, but you just approach it like any other game. These guys have been playing all year. These games are what it's all about. Wrigley's going to be insane. You're coming back home. It is a little bit better for them getting back into their own ballpark. The travel between Chicago and Milwaukee is obviously not an issue, but that'll it helps. It definitely helps to come back home. But in the back of your mind, I know you're sitting there thinking we're down 0-2. This is our lives are at stake. But at the same time, it's just another ball game.
There you go. Jayson Werth, World Series champ. He would know. Jayson, thank you so much, man. Good luck with the ponies. Sorry about your survivor pool, and we'll talk to you again sometime soon.
All right, guys, take it easy. Thanks for having me. See you.
Later, man. Yeah, he told us off air that he got eliminated on that.
Yeah, the Cardinals. Brutal. A lot of people. A lot of people had the Cardinals.
Oh my God.